so it begins. Hi everybody, welcome to my bonus video. I mentioned in the video I released with Joe this morning and on the community page that I was going to be releasing a bonus video this afternoon to fill you in on what happened during the conference call I had with my ex this morning. Oh wow, guys, if this call is any indication on what I can expect, I'm going to need to be sedated for future conference calls. It was horrible. For those of you that don't know, I've been separated from my ex for 2 years, and in December, I fled the state with my children to get away from him so I could file for divorce safely. And in that time, he has decided that he actually is a victim of me, that he didn't choose not to have anything to do with his children. I prevented him from having anything to do with his children, and he is going with that full steam ahead. It's a complete lie. The reality is that my ex has always had the ability to communicate with his children. He has decided not to. That was his choice. It wasn't my choice, it was his choice. I had to live with it, I had to deal with it, and I've been a single mother 100%. And that's fine. I haven't complained about it. I'm just telling you, my ex literally has no communication. He doesn't financially support his kids. He is an absentee father to the extreme. My children at this point want nothing to do with him. So the last communication my ex had with his children was last week, when after 2 years, he sent them an email. So this is the first time my kids have heard from them in 2 full years. So my ex sends this email saying that he misses them and he loves them and he always wanted to communicate with them, but I wouldn't allow it. Now my kids know that that isn't true, but nonetheless, this is a difficult email for them to have received. My son is 15, my daughter's 18. My daughter completely ignored it. My son deleted it. I actually didn't even know that he had gotten the email until my daughter said something. If she hadn't said something, I wouldn't have known. And I'm glad she told me, because my lawyer said that my minor child has to respond to emails, because if he doesn't, he might be able to force my son to go back to New Hampshire against my will and his will. So I had my son take it out of his trash folder and respond to it. So the last contact my ex had with his child was my son saying to him in an email, "Don't contact me again. I don't want anything to do with you. If I change my mind, I'll let you know." So this is his contact that he had with his son. You would think, if he loved his child so much, that he would be devastated by this. But this is what happened this morning in court. So it was just a very brief conference call. I didn't actually even speak to my ex. I just heard his reply to questions. So they're in New Hampshire. I don't know if this is how it is in all states, but you need to take this class. It's called Child Impact Class. And it's a 4-hour class related. And it tells you, I guess, I haven't taken it yet, how divorce affects your child. So you have to take this class I'm not sure if you have to take it or sign up within 45 days of today's meeting. So today's meeting was basically, they had a moderator and she asked both of us if we had had a chance to check out the court website and watch the video on the whole process. So, she asked me this. Yes, I did. She asked my ex this. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I did. I watched that right away. I mean, this is how he's talking. Then the next question she asked was about that child impact class. So have you had the opportunity to sign up for this? My reply, yes, I did. I signed up for it over the weekend. I'm going April 23rd. My ex, this is his response. Oh my goodness, absolutely. Well, I not only signed up for it, I've done half the class. I have done 2 hours of it already. It's my priority. Just him saying that made me sick. Here he is, this person last week whose son told him he wants nothing to do with him. And now he's like just so happy and chipper. Can't wait to tell everybody about this class he's taking. Then the next and the last question was, and this, I will have so much more to say about this in the coming weeks, mediation. My ex is pushing mediation. My son wants nothing to do with him, nothing at all. Because my son is 15, almost 16, he will have the final say in whether he has a relationship with his father or not. My personal view on that is I'm going with whatever my son wants. If he wants a relationship with his father, I will be okay with that. If he doesn't, I'm okay with that. He's opted not to. Now, just a little side thing, just so that you understand where I come from on this. I have always been honest with my children. I don't purposely badmouth their father. However, I have told them the truth about everything. They know what narcissism is. They understand the things that he has done and the choices he has made. My ex has been particularly heinous and caused my children and I a lot of problems. And that's why I've been so honest. My ex has shown up at my house with a loaded gun. He's tried to get me arrested when he himself hurt himself. He had been dragged out of my house several times by the police. He has scared us. He's broken into the house. He's dangerous. He walks around, my home in New Hampshire had 40 acres of woods behind it. I caught him in the woods walking around, just there, trespassing. And, it's technically his house too, so I'm telling you it's trespassing. According to him, I was just making sure everything was okay. He had the mail photographed. He knew every single piece of mail that was coming to that house. He terrified us. He terrorized us. For 2 years, I slept with a loaded gun next to my bed because I was afraid. I didn't know what he was going to do. A psychiatrist diagnosed him as not only narcissistic, but in his words, likely a psychopath. My kids have been terrified, so I've had to be honest with them. I never said things like, oh, Daddy really loves you. He wishes, he wants to talk to you. He wants to communicate with you. He just can't because he's sick. He has this problem, that problem. I've told them exactly what the reality is, that he's mentally ill, that he has a personality disorder, that he can't be around us because of the things that he has done. Because, they were there with the gun. They were woken up by the police. This is the type of thing that my children have witnessed. This is the type of ordeal that we've been through. So I had to tell them exactly what was going on. So they've always known these things. So they were able to make decisions how they wanted in their own best interests. My daughter's a little bit different because she's 18. So her decision is, binding whatever she chooses. My son has a court case, he has a court that will help make this decision. Now, thankfully at his age, my attorney said that he will be able to make the final decision. However, my ex is not allowing that to happen. He is pushing. He is insisting that I am keeping him away from his son. It's not true. And he's trying to put my son through hell. So he's pushing this mediation. I'm very upset about the mediation. Now, I understand that the court needs to hear both sides. Justice is blind. I get that. But this is my 15-year-old son involved in it, and I'm very upset about this, very upset that my son has to be interviewed and he has to go through this ordeal because his father is insisting on something that isn't true when we both know, my ex and I, that our son gets to make the final decision. And the other reality is that any hope that my ex would have when it comes to seeing his son and having a relationship would be how my ex acts now during the divorce. He should show our son that if he really loves him, he should show our son that he wants to do what's best for our son, not what's best for him. So he's pushing this mediation. He's going to make us jump through all types of hoops just for the same result, the result we know it's going to happen. So I will definitely be talking more about that. So the mediation is set up for May 23rd. I think May 23rd. That's assuming both lawyers can go. But this is what my ex said when she asked if May 23rd worked for us. So remember, this is a man who just heard last week that his son wants nothing to do with him. So, you wouldn't think he'd be super happy and elated over this. So she says, all right, well, does May 23rd work? And this is what my ex said. Oh my goodness, of course. I'm going to clear my schedule. That is my priority. My son is my priority. It was sickening. It really was. It made me feel literally physically ill. And you know how narcissists are. I think he was trying to get me going so I would say something. So I kept calm. I said, yep, that works for me. I can do that date. And then that was it. So that was my trauma this morning. And it was traumatic. It was horrible. I was so upset. And the thing is, thank God for Joe. Thank God I live with Joe because I was able to talk to him immediately afterwards. I know I'm not the only one that's going through this. I am determined to document this and help other people going through it and help myself as well. helps me to know what to expect. Joe has gone ahead of me. We decided this a long time ago that, he was going to do his divorce first and then me. So he's far ahead of me. I'm just starting this process. But for anybody with minor children or children with a narcissist, there are some difficult realities, and Joe and I were talking about this yesterday. We were in the car. We were both talking about different things related to our exes. And, Joe's ex is causing him quite a lot of problems related to some tax issues. It's really bad. Joe's really stressed out about it, and he said to me, well, maybe I shouldn't have done anything. Maybe I should just have let her have this money. This is a whole long story that is his business to talk to you about. But she basically stole money from him. But just because of all the trauma around it, he was like, maybe I should have just let her have it. And then I said to Joe too, I was like, you know what, Joe? When you say that, it's actually occurred to me. Well, you know what? Maybe I should have waited until my son was 18 to file for divorce. And then the two of us were looking at each other and we're like, are we crazy? No, we cannot let the narcissist win. We cannot. We have a life to live. All of us do. So I'm going to grit my teeth and get through it. This was just a taste, but this was a taste of what I can expect going forward. So the next thing I have to deal with is, I believe, May 23rd, and I will keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for watching this bonus video. I really appreciate it. It's almost like my therapy. So thank you. So grateful. I hope everybody has had a wonderful day, and I will see you on Wednesday's video. God bless.